I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Yep, you want your boy? Go pick him up. He's over here, on the fucking concrete where I left him.
On an individual level, we have to learn that they are vile.
Not worth the calories.
And you're Gen Z and you won't date me.
My email accounts are...
True international effort to pressure.
The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know.
Gentlemen, welcome. Please find a seat and relax. We have a lot to discuss. Welcome, one and all. I'm KC.
I am DC.
And we are two goddamn gentlemen bringing to you this and every week a celebration of all things trust fund, thick boys, and sobering up for police report filings. That was the first one I really stumbled over that bad. That was nice. Head over to twogoddamngentlemen.com where you can see and vote on the Hall of Gentlemen. Find links to our Twitter, voicemail, YouTube, and our Patreon, which gains you access into our live Discord during these and all bonus shows. DC, when this episode airs, what the fuck? What year is it? When this episode comes out, drops, is downloadable, we'll have a new bonus episode, Pods We Beat, about two gobby blondes.
Holy
available.
Shit. Maybe the worst podcast I've ever listened to. Like, I had to make myself listen to this to pull clips. It was that bad.
It's not good. It's not good, but you can get access to those bonus shows, all of these shows live in our Discord until, again, we find something better. And you can do all of that through twogoddamngentlemen.com. DC, would you please read back the minutes to last week's meeting?
Well, Trust Fund Thick Boy Dan Bilzerian voted totally a gentleman at +4. So
Justified?
Coming out of the gates...
Justified? I like to see that.
Justified. Ted Kennedy, not a gentleman at -5. So, there's room to improve. Politicians not really doing great. Usually I get to the outliers after the top 3, bottom 3, but I'll just say it now. Huge Biden slide this week. Huge. He's down to -27 after...
So I haven't seen these yet.
Fuck-ups.
Usually I see these, but DC and I did not have time for a prep. Really it's just drinking and bullshitting on Zoom, but we technically prep because we talk about scores.
Sure. What
was he at last week? Like -21?
Yeah, I think our podcast made it to Syria. I think there are people in Syria. I think they voted right before they died. I think they hit send right before the bomb hit their house. So that was nice. What I want to know, Casey, and you might know, you stay up on politics and worldly events, right? How many of those people that got bombed had COVID, do you think? Probably a couple of them.
I actually didn't read that. I don't know. Is that information available?
All of them. Mike B, you're right. Thank you, Mike B in the chat. All of them. I think that's right. So good thing our economy is back.
That's 4.
We're back. We're at war again. We did it.
That's 4 working vaccines, by the way. If they all had COVID, that's the 4th way to get rid of it. We found another one.
I like that. I like that way. It's nice. So we're at war, everybody. Congratulations. Speaking of at war, let's go with the top 3 versus bottom 3. Casey, lead it off.
Well, I am absolutely tickled to see that the ultimate gentleman, Mel Gibson, is our first gentleman to reach the 30s. +31 for Mel. That's a beautiful thing. Still in first place and now leading by double digits over second place, which is, it's DC's favorite guy, Brigham Young, at a +19, and our favorite king collectively, King Henry VIII, +18. That's your top 3. It's been consistent for about a month now. That's been our top 3 locked in.
We're just going to have to retire that segment until somebody else makes it in. Then it'll just be an outlier making it in the top 3.
It'll be
People
1 week
really,
that somebody
really love
commits.
and hate.
It'll be 1 week that someone just commits because it takes 10 minutes to put somebody second place, but everybody just votes once and goes about their day.
Yeah, it's really just gentlemanly the way people are voting.
It's an honor system.
I don't agree with it. On the bottom 3, see, that's it. Mel Gibson, first one into the 30s. We have like 14 gentlemen flirting with the negative 30s. Our third to worst is at negative 54 now, Jonathan Yaniv. Apparently, Jonathan Yaniv, after getting the surgery, has now been harassing Canadian fire departments in his area to the tune of like 20 times, where he has called them out.
He's trying to cut off all their hoses.
Yeah. No, he's trying to fit their axes into like which one gave him the gash, I think. He's like, it's like Cinderella, you know? It's like which axe fits the wound.
Not usually where the blood comes from, but it'll work.
Yeah, so he's been reported as like harassing the firemen inappropriately. So now that he doesn't have a dick anymore, he feels like, okay, I'm going for it. I'm just going to call firemen over to my house and just lay it all on the line.
I don't know that I like the implication that he wasn't just going for it before, because he was.
Well, you know, little girls, big strong men. You know, it's a difference. I guess.
A better direction, I guess. Sure.
Yeah, less offensive for sure. I don't give a fuck. You know, harass men all you want. We're used to it. Maddox minus 64 drops another few, and Tommy Tudor unbelievably goes up 3 spots to negative 131.
A comeback story for the
comeback
ages.
Story. So he's still there. So that's nice. In addition to Biden's huge move, and there were some others in there. It's not very important. Didn't affect the top or bottom 3, and wasn't last week's gentleman. So whatever. Go vote him up if you want to see him in there, or vote him down if you want to see somebody else in the bottom 3. But big news on the voicemail front, Casey.
Did we get
the
one?
Podcast. Yeah. Well, we've always had one, but I looked at it today, and I was thinking, okay, 860, a random Connecticut area code, not really memorable, but then we tried to get a number that was like, not just like 1724963, like that you couldn't make anything out of. So we went 5544254. Like, okay, that's pretty, it's easy. It rolls off the tongue a little bit. Not good enough.
Your jingle was decent. I wish I could pull it right now. I'll add it in post. I'll see if I can find the old 554 jingle.
Yeah. So it was all right, but I thought not good enough. Let's check Google Voice, because they gave us a notification that our Google Voice number was going to be expiring in 30 days if we didn't do something about it. I was like, well, it's not getting utilized very much. It's just not memorable. So I got to do something about this. Let me find an area code that's easier than 860. There's a Florida area code, 321. Who can't remember 321? Our phone line, Casey, if you would show the people, is at the bottom of twogoddamngentlemen.com. Yeah, 555 AIDS. No, might be. That was taken. I tried.
No longer.
555 AIDS was taken.
No,
it is now 321-768-3825. Think of DC. That's not memorable at all. Well, just spell it out on your phone system and you get 321 POV fuck. So if you can't remember that, you don't deserve to call into this podcast. But please do call in. Give your takes. Give your gentleman nominations. Give your shitting on us, because, we deserve it.
That's true.
And we'll shit on you back if you stumble or if you stutter,
And we'll play everything.
Everything. No.
It sucks. If it's not funny. Yeah. If you fuck up terribly and ask us not to play it, we will play it. If it's not funny, then we probably will play it.
Yeah. we'll doctor it. We'll make it worse than it was.
I just had more pregnant pauses into the middle of it just to draw it out further.
And if that didn't convince you to call in, maybe our gentleman nominations will. Casey, I think you're leading off. You're at the bat.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hot button topic in the world this week, DC, and for me, it was just another opportunity to nominate a gentleman. So let's find out who my nomination is.
Tonight, conservatives blaming cancel culture after Dr. Seuss Enterprises announced 6 of the famed author's books will no longer be published because of offensive imagery.
Uh-oh, DC.
Offensive imagery?
That's right.
They're cartoons. They're like classically over-exaggerated droopy tree cartoons. What the fuck are they? Anyway, go on. I'm sure you'll tell me. I have not heard about this, but I'm pissed. I love Dr. Seuss.
I have some thoughts about Dr. Seuss. Thoughts I didn't have before, because we all know my memory, while it is the best in the world, it's
Steel
also
trap.
It's also really awful. Yeah, so I don't remember a lot of Dr. Seuss from being a kid, even though I'm sure I heard or read most of them. But I took in quite a bit of content today, and I have some thoughts. But let's talk about your history with Dr. Seuss. Do you remember Dr. Seuss as a kid?
I love Dr. Seuss. I got read the Cat in the Hat books almost every day for nap time. My grandmother was a kindergarten teacher, so she had like Dr. Seuss movies, like where they would like animate the books and read them and shit like that. I love Dr. Seuss, man. His catalog is like huge, so I didn't read all the books, but you know, I know all the popular titles.
Now, do you remember
One Fish, Two Fish?
Do you remember the problematic imagery of the Dr. Seuss literature?
I'm trying to rack my brain. I don't think so. No, I don't remember anything being offensive. And I read those books to my kids. We've got at least 20, 25 Dr. Seuss books that I read to the boys, and I can't think of anything.
Well, 6 books are no longer going to be sold, and it was actually his estate that made the decision. But a lot of people are blaming the cancel culture. CNN lady loved the word woke in her report as I watched that whole thing earlier. Let's get into it with the first book that I looked into, DC. Are you familiar with And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street? You remember this one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They had like a Chinese guy marching band. Okay, yeah. I do remember that. I wasn't offended by that. I mean, the book was written in, what, the 50s or something like that? The railroad wasn't even, like, fully completed then,
I think that's the case with most of this, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Mulberry Street. This kid, like, just thinks up all these things that are lies about what he saw so that he doesn't have to tell his dad, I didn't see anything on the walk home from school. It's all just made up shit.
You exactly right. He had nothing interesting to report, and his dad was like, come on, kid, you got to pay attention and find cool things in life. And so the kid's walking home, and, let's get into the setup here.
All the long way to school and all the way back, I've looked and I've kept careful track, but all that I've noticed except my own feet was a horse and a wagon on Mulberry Street. That's nothing to tell of. That won't do, of course. Just a broken down wagon that's drawn by a horse. That can't be my story. That's only a start. I'll say that a zebra was pulling the cart. And that is a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street.
So the kid's going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Kid's going to make up this whole lie. And what Dr. Seuss does is he's like, all right, I'm just going to make up a bunch of shit here. And I remember Cat in the Hat, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Green Eggs and Ham, kind of. As in, I remember that there was a cat in the hat, and I remember people saying Green Eggs and Ham. What I didn't remember, DC, is that Dr. Seuss really was just making shit up the whole time.
Yeah.
And I took in quite a few, because I was thinking to myself, I could just read these books, but that doesn't really play for the podcast. I should find people reading them so we can listen together through different sections, which we just heard. And a half hour of that is death. It's a fate worse than death, and I hated it a lot. And my notes really do reflect that. So let's go through.
Okay.
So at the beginning of this, and to think I saw it on Mulberry Street story, he sees a horse with a cart. He's like, "Fuck that! Let's make the cart a chariot." Cart turns into a chariot. Cool. Reindeer, that's better than a horse. Fuck the horse. Now we got a reindeer with a chariot. But that's stupid, because why would a reindeer pull a chariot? They pull sleighs or sleds.
Right.
Right? So,
yep.
But that's kind of predictable. So let's use an elephant. Of course. But fuck the sleigh. Let's bring in the band cart. and giraffes to help pull all this heavy shit, right? But they're going to need a police escort because
which elephants would be way better at pulling that than giraffes.
And giraffes and elephants probably would not work together at all pulling anything. They have different stride, different speed. Like, it's just going to be a mess. They're going to be pulling all the wrong directions.
Right.
Now, this entire mess is going to need a police escort. Right? At this point, Dr. Seuss, or Ted, because it wasn't a doctor, but Ted. We'll call him Dr.
Yeah,
Seuss.
it was his pen name, right? What was his real name?
It was Ted. Hold on, I have it written here. Oh, hi, lady. There we go. Let's see.
Ted Geisel.
Ted Geisel. Yeah,
says
there you
the
go.
chat.
Ted Geisel. It was on my sheet, but chat got to it first. That's impressive. All right, so DC. At this point, he gets to the police escort and he starts running out of shit. And at that point, he should have stopped right then, but he kept going for. He's got to squeeze that one more line in there, don't you?
Yeah.
My woke sense is tingling.
With a roar of its motor, an airplane appears and dumps out confetti while everyone cheers. And that makes a story that's really not bad, but it still could be better. Suppose that I add a Chinese man who eats with sticks, a big magician doing tricks, a 10-foot beard that needs a comb. No time for more. I'm almost home.
So this image here, DC, is what has canceled this book.
That looks very accurate to me, actually.
I believe it's because his eyes are simply lines.
Or maybe just they're closed.
Maybe.
Hey, does everybody... Is there not another single person in that picture? Is there not another single person that has closed eyes? Can we not go back like one frame and see if anybody else... I'm sure they do.
Let's see. Can we zoom in on this guy? Yeah, everybody's got closed eyes. DC.
So they're the racists. They just wanted to see what they wanted to see.
That's right.
Which is offensive to me.
That's agreed.
Yeah.
The second book. If I Ran the Zoo, or as I like to call it, Dr. Seuss continues to make shit up the whole time.
Yeah. Right.
What do we decide to do here? This kid walks into a zoo and says, well, this zoo's okay.
But if I ran it, there'd be blacks in that cage and Mexicans in that cage. And right? That's surely what happened. To be offensive enough to get a book canceled.
That's exactly what happened. I actually, by this point, had decided that I wanted Dr. Seuss canceled for lists. I thought he was making up too many things and just listing them in order too often, and I wanted him canceled at this point. And I was not halfway yet. So we continue. What do we do now? This kid wants to run his own zoo. We make up new animals and also other things.
It's a pretty good zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, and the fellow who runs it seems proud of it too. But if I ran the zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, I'd make a few changes. That's just what I'd do. The lions and tigers and that kind of stuff they have up here now are not quite good enough. You see things like these in just any old zoo. They're awfully old-fashioned. I want something new.
All right, so that was the setup. Now let's get into some new things.
My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people talk. My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people gawk at the strangest odd creatures that ever did walk. I'll get for my zoo a new sort of hen who roosts in another hen's topknot, and then another one roosts in the topknot of his, and another in his, and another in his, and so forth and upward and onward. Gee whiz. But that's just a start. I'll do better than that. They'll see me next day in my zookeeper's hat, coming into my zoo with an elephant cat.
Okay, just
elephant cat.
Just
weird.
Making up more stuff, and it just go. By the way, that first part about and then on top of that, and on top of that, that should have gone on longer, I thought.
I thought so too. At least 10 more stories.
So let's just keep making things up and not cross any lines anywhere and potentially wake the woke police.
And that's what I'll do, said young Gerald McGrew. If you want to catch beasts you don't see every day, you have to go places quite out of the way. You have to go places no others can get to. You have to get cold, and you have to get wet, too. Up past the North Pole where the frozen winds squeal, I'll go and I'll hunt in my ski-mobile, and bring back a family of what do you know? And that's how my new zoo, Magruzu, will grow.
Good idea.
I'll hunt in the mountains of Zomba Matan, with helpers who all wear their eyes in a slant, and capture a fine fluffy bird called a bustard, who only eats custard with sauce made of mustard.
They wear their eyes that way. No, you wear a mustache. You wear a beard. You wear a shirt. Those are choices.
There was one.
I would go and look for ducks. I would find them with slanty-eyed fucks. Oh, man.
Jesus Christ. DC, there was one of these books that had some depiction of an Asian guy writing something, and there was also, like, somewhere else in the story, somebody else writing something in an illustration, and the Asian guy's writing was actually, like, italicized. It was just,
oh.
So that one, you know.
They read right to left. It's very weird.
So that one, okay, all right, you know, whatever. We saw it happen.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dr. Seuss was at a time where it was very, very anti-Asian. He probably made some, like, probably made some poking stabs at Germans.
Oh,
in some way.
He actually won awards for war propaganda material that he made for the U.S. with some very interesting depictions of Japanese and German people. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Go check them out. Go look into that.
I mean, we put them in internment camps. Do you understand? Like, that happened not in the very beginning of the last century. It was almost to the middle of last century that they put people in internment camps.
Mm-hmm.
Was it because it was a Democratic president? I don't know. I don't know. It was, but I don't know.
It definitely was, but I simply have no idea.
I don't know if that had anything to do with it. It just was one. I don't know.
My next 4 notes are still listing things. I didn't want to cut everything. And then my next one after that, and I'm just going to warn you guys, this is literally how I set this one up. This is literally cut so I don't go through this alone.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I'll bag a big bug who is very surprising, a feller who has a propeller for rising, and zooming around making cross-country hops from Texas to Boston with only 2 stops. Now that sort of thing for a bug is just tops. And when I've caught him, the next thing you know, I'll go and I'll capture a wild tic-tac-toe. With X's that win and with zeros that lose, he'll look mighty good in the zoo of McGrew's.
Doubt it. I got mad at Dr. Seuss, so I turned him upside down now.
You showed him.
Got mad at him. DC, my next one, the next in the books, I didn't cut any clips because I couldn't find anything. It was McElligott's Pond. Remember that one?
I've never heard of McElligott's Pond.
Well,
not one of his more famous books, nor were the last 2. I think it was just an accident that I had the Mulberry Street book.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. So, McElligott's Pond, about a kid who's fishing in this little watering hole or whatever. Guy comes over. He's like, "Kid, this is where people throw their trash. Stop fishing here. You're not going to catch anything. There's nothing in there." The kid's like, "Yeah, but what if this like connects to the ocean? And then if it was connected to the ocean, then ocean fish might like just be like, let's go in this way." And in like the cartoons, they got like McElligott's Pond on signs by the ocean, right? Like fish go that way. Cute, fine. And where do you think...
The guy's like, "All right, fuck you, kid. Do what you want. Waste your time."
So what do you think? All right, so that's the setup. What if what if ocean fish could make their way here? DC, what do you think happens next in that book?
Oh man, a Chinese whale.
Well, it could be. What actually happens is Dr. Seuss makes up a bunch of new fish.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Because That's all.
Well, that's what I was saying.
fucking
Chinese whale. We know
is.
there's no whales in Asia. They killed them all. They got to come over to us.
They're scarce at best. So,
yeah.
So the kid is all excited about that. We get new fish get made up.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a 9-minute reading of this book, and at the end of it was like, I didn't even see it. The first two, I at least saw the image that I was supposed to see, right? Like, those are easy to spot. That one, I was like, nope. No, I didn't get it. I didn't get that one. And the other part of this is that everyone online is so afraid of being lumped into anything that I had a hard time finding people that would post the actual images themselves, like even in any Dr. Seuss story from this week.
Yeah, isn't that... Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
I get it. Everybody's a coward. So, I understand why they do it, but it pisses me off. Like when a news article will be like, oh, teachers are canceled for saying this racist word. I'm like, oh boy, let's see. What did they say? And I go, and nobody will say it. I go to the comments. Nobody knows in the comments, but that's what everybody's asking.
Every comment,
Does anybody know? Does anybody know what the word is? And then when you do that, when you imply... you automatically go to 11. You take it to 11. You think of the worst word that you could possibly ever think of.
True,
and
yeah.
Inevitably, it's way down here. It was something that was way stupid. That was just like, why didn't you just fuck yourself instead of writing this article?
Just say it, idiot. So, DC, here's the last book we're going to talk about. On Beyond Zebra.
Okay, never heard that one either.
So there's a kid in a classroom learning the alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
And this other kid's like, hey, you did a good job with that alphabet there. But I noticed that you stopped at Z. And that's, I thought it was strange because, like, there's a bunch of letters after Z that you probably don't know about that stand for all kinds of cool things.
That's communist talk. Get out of here. We don't recognize those letters. Get out.
So the next part was actually really unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Seuss then made up a bunch of new letters, which drove me insane. Here's the supposed quote-unquote issue with this one. DC, if you would please be the judge of this.
Okay.
And spaz is a letter I use to spell spasm, a beast who belongs to the nasm of basm. Handy for traveling, that's why he has 'em. More easy to pack than a suitcase or grip, those horns carry all that he needs on a trip. A thread and a needle for mending his socks, his toothbrush, a cup, and 2 3-handed clocks.
So that is the image.
That is a whitewashed Middle Eastern man, if I've ever seen one.
That's exactly what I thought.
It's very offensive.
The camel is also purely white.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything just doesn't have skin tone at all.
Shameful. And we all know the Middle Eastern women are the ones doing all the sewing and things like that. We know that.
That's right. So
it's culturally inappropriate.
So that's it. Case closed. Wait.
Cancel the guy.
Hold on. There's one. What is this last clip here?
I'm just sad.
These are the sounds.
Wow.
Of the nostalgia of childhood.
I love his books.
Being tarnished.
It does taint a little bit of this image in my mind.
All thanks to this image, a 4-panel cartoon by the then 25.
Now that one.
Wait, what did he say? Then 25-year-old?
Yeah.
Was he going to say 25-year-old?
Yeah, we're going to keep going.
Fine.
We're going to keep
Who
going.
didn't do stupid shit when they're 25?
This is a tough one. Those are indeed lips.
Oh, I thought they were like early to the Corona party.
Negative. Unless they just drew a thin line in between the top and bottom on everybody.
Well, that's problematic.
Yeah, that one's not great, so let's keep going.
5-year-old Theodore Geisel, which appeared in the political magazine Judge in 1929.
I feel like it's pretty messed up.
It depicts scenarios in which rich men can purchase items to make their lives more difficult. A sign reads, "Take home a high-grade N-word for your woodpile." While some we talked to stop short of outrage.
You gotta look in the context of the time that, back then.
All express disappointment.
This is something that I would not expect him to write.
We wanted to scour the rest of his work. and went inside the Geisel Library, which contains the largest collection of Dr. Seuss illustrations, some 15,000 pieces. They are locked in a back room, and the school declined to allow us in.
No shit.
On the library
Christ.
website, we found several of his drawings from Judge Magazine. A source familiar with the collection says none of the illustrations contain the N-word or blackface. Geisel, a liberal Democrat,
I would not eat them here or there.
and the best-selling children's author of all time, spent the last 4 decades of his life in La Jolla. As for the cartoon and auction,
Not a single bid? Well, I think that's a good thing, to be honest.
the auction just wrapped up. No one made the minimum $20,000 bid. Most we talked to called that the best possible ending to this Dr. Seuss story.
What, a room of stupid people that wouldn't buy, like, damning evidence against one of the most famous people in American history, for sure. Man. Yeah, it's going to be very disappointing to know what words we're saying currently that are just going to be unhearable, you know?
And I think some already are.
That we've used tonight, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I would imagine so. So let's just go through a couple of fun facts to close it up here.
Oh, man. Okay, that's funny. Sorry. The chat was going back and forth, and Darth Drock said he can't wait to read his kids Cardi B's lyrics before they go to bed. And Mike B responds with wet-ass pussy in a hat. That's fantastic. In the hat, excuse me. Wet-ass pussy in the hat.
So a couple of fun facts to close it out. Dr. Seuss did not like kids. Famously said, quote, "You have them. I'll entertain them." As any gentleman would be, he was caught drinking during Prohibition. He was fired from the Dartmouth paper he was writing for, but that's where his pen name came from. Started writing under Seuss. He wrote The Grinch about himself, hating Christmas. In fact, The Grinch at one point says that he's been going through this shit, basically, for 53 years, which is exactly how old Dr. Seuss was when he wrote it. The first book that he got real popularity for was a book about gaffes and mistakes, and it was called Boners, and it was so successful that it garnered a follow-up called More Boners. True story. He wrote a book called The Seven Lady Godivas, who were 7 women that were naked all the time because they just wanted to be in their natural state. The book was a major flop, and he blamed himself because he said he did not make them nearly sexy enough. And then lastly, when his wife, Helen Palmer, had cancer, he cheated on her, so she killed herself. And in her suicide note, she asked, "What happened to us? And please remember the good times." So, yeah, my nomination, Dr. Seuss. I hope everyone is genuinely confused.
Well done. Well done, sir. That was fantastic. I had no idea he was such a gentleman, but I will vote him up. You've convinced me.
That's right. So, DC, couple of quick honoraries this week. Number 1.
Okay.
Thousands of men everywhere, and I'm sure women too, freaking out today are gentlemen.
How would you know? How would you know anymore?
That's right. Because Lola Bunny...
Ooh.
Lola Bunny has been changed from the original to this one. She's far less voluptuous, I guess, compared to... and again, we talked about my memory. Didn't remember she existed from the first one. But yeah, so that was freaking everybody out. It was a big story on Tucker Carlson tonight. I saw on Twitter that came through. So yeah, everybody freaking out about that. So shout out to all the gentlemen who concern themselves with these things.
And why? And they turned the Toon Squad into Rainbow?
I guess. I don't know. I saw the plot for the Space Jam 2. It doesn't look good. We'll have to talk about that. DC, you familiar with this video? The dad in the car with the bear filter?
I love this video.
Honorary gentleman.
Love it.
Let's go.
How was school today?
Kid's face.
Hello? I'm just a bear driving.
Daddy, is that?
Nope, I'm a bear. You're in my world now. You want to go home? Yeah. You are home in my bear cave.
Set the tone!
I love that guy. I love that guy.
So those are my honorary gentlemen, and of course Tiger Woods. Back to you.
No, the real hero was the cop that covered up for him. That was great. He was the real gentleman.
Did a good job.
Yes, he did. All right, Casey, I just have one honorary, and it's hard to say who the gentleman is, so it's kind of a choose your own adventure, but I found this story heartwarming, and it was finally nice to see something good in the news for a change. So if you would for me, go ahead and click play.
Yesterday's deadly crash in the Imperial Valley appears to have happened during a human smuggling operation. The Border Patrol says surveillance video shows an SUV driving through a hole in the U.S.-Mexico border fence before it collided with a tractor-trailer, killing 13 people.
Yes!
Holy shit. How many people?
25. 25 were in the car, in the SUV, collided with a tractor-trailer, and...
or a trailer tractor, either one.
Yeah, trailer tractor. 13 people died. And the other 12 were just released into Texas, presumably, to
be hunted.
Spread whatever. So that's great. Probably plenty of gentlemen involved in that story. But again, heartwarming. Yeah, that's right, chat. They are American now. Good call, Jess. Casey,
yeah.
Without further ado, I would like to present everybody with my gentleman of the week. He was a recommendation, a referral, if you will, from the Tommy Tudor hate site, anothermessageboard.com. I thought this one was great. Those guys really know their shitheads over there. It is Todd Daugherty. There he is.
I know that guy. That's Hodor.
It is Hodor. No, it's not. It's Todd Daugherty, who is
Todd Daugherty.
Nailed it. Todd Daugherty is a somewhat local gentleman from the state of Illinois. He is from like Taylorsville, Illinois, some very white town, because his problems are very, very white. And they do not respect him in that town. The police all hate him.
It looks like Jim Gaffigan's alcoholic brother.
It does. You're right, it does. It also looks like Glenn Beck's Down syndrome son. A little bit. A little bit like that. But no.
Elder son, but yeah, yes.
Beck's pretty... Yeah, I guess that's right. Or twin brother. His Down syndrome twin brother. Nailed it. Todd Daugherty was what the internet would call a ham radio fag. I'm not sure if you know what a ham radio fag is, but you can imagine. It's a faggot who is involved in ham radioing.
See, every time you bring up ham radio, I always think it's some kind of euphemism, but you keep on meaning actual ham radios, which I can't believe people still have.
Yeah. This guy is also known as... Let me see if I can... pull up his fucking... What is his... Shit. It's so stupid. What is his name? Oh, N9OGL. That's what he goes by. Because you don't have names on ham radio. You just have letters and numbers.
A handle?
Handles. Yeah. It's
is it like CB radios, so you just have a handle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he took that over to Twitter and his email addresses, which we'll get into a little bit later. But Todd... loved to be on ham radios, and he also loved... Actually, he didn't love it, but he worked at Walmart, and he was...
That looks right.
Can you guess what he did at Walmart, Casey?
The easy guess would be greeter.
Worse, the cart pusher.
Oh no! I skipped the parking lot.
You skipped the parking lot guy.
I got in the building for him.
Mm-hmm.
I did bad. I did a bad job.
He is the cart wrangler.
Mike B said children's clothing.
He's on fire. He's on fire tonight. No, he was the cart pusher and also a part-time amateur blogger. I know you probably thought he was a professional blogger.
I'm
just
shocked.
by the look of him.
By the ranking.
But he is an amateur, and he wrote a lot about his Walmart struggles. This is one of those entries, which I'll read for you now. Let's talk about Walmart is the title. Normally, I don't get on here and rant about Walmart. However, it's getting to the point that they're okay. And let me tell you, his punctuation and grammar and spelling is fucking atrocious. So I'm not misreading any of this. This is, how
See, I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised by it, but sure enough, that they're really pissing me off, spelled possessive there. It began on Saturday 16 of this year. I was working on that Saturday, and at noon, it was time for me to go to lunch. The other cart pusher arrived. That sounds like such a derogatory. That's what we won't be able to say. Did you just call that man a cart pusher? Did you just call him a man? The other cart pusher arrived, and I headed to lunch. I would like to point out that I was scheduled a lunch, and under Illinois law, capitalized, I'm required to have one. Now, when I returned back from lunch, I was called into the cash office by the zone manger, who wrote me up for not doing my job because I went to lunch. I was also written up because since I didn't do my job because I went to lunch, they had to send people out there to do my job. Remember, there was a cart pusher there. We remember. Then, the following Saturday after that, February 23rd, we can do the math, Todd. I was scheduled a lunch, but got none. A violation of Illinois law! 5 exclamation points. The reason I got no lunch, because unlike the weekend before when someone came in to cover my lunch, on the 23rd, there was no one. And I working on a Saturday alone! Tell me, what kind of fucking morons only have one cart pusher at Walmart Supercenter on a Saturday? 3 question marks. But that not all. Since that event...
That not all.
That not all. The zone manger, I think he means manager, and even the CSM, customer service manager maybe, seems to have a grudge to get rid of me. I think so too. I think you will start to understand how much people want to get rid of you. And Walmart wonder why people want to strike. Hell, I'm surprised a fucking employee hadn't come in with a gun and start killing people because of the way they treat people. They claim I'm not doing my job, yet I work my ass off. The other cart pushers complaint that I'm not sociable. He spelled that right, amazingly. They think you should stand around for 15 to 30 minutes talking and bullshitting with each other. I don't think that they think anything, actually.
They're cart pushers at Walmart.
Look, I'm there to work, not socialize. If you don't like it, fire me. I'm getting paid to work, not stand outside with the other cart pushers talking for hours on end. So, this man is not happy with Walmart. They end up firing him, Casey, for coming to work with a Hawaiian shirt on. And when they tried to write him up for that and say, sign here acknowledging that you broke the code of conduct, the dress code, he wouldn't sign it because he's like, I'm not admitting to my guilt. It's like, well, I mean, we could just take a picture of you. It literally, you're just wearing a Hawaiian shirt. You said you wouldn't do it. We've been waiting for you to fuck up forever because everybody hates you. Mm-hmm. And now is our chance. Oh, you won't sign the write-up? Okay, your ass is gone. Get out of here. Todd didn't take that very well.
They're standing by the punch clock every day waiting for him to be late. They see him walk in with like 2 minutes to go, and he can see all the managers go, God! Todd?
Yeah. Come on. Is that his car? Damn it. It's his
the door?
Is that his mom's car? Is that his mom's car? Damn
That's
it.
Right.
It is his mom's car. Fuck. So
He'd have to call the day he got fired. He had to stand there in his Hawaiian shirt and call his mom to tell her to come back. Like, Ma, I need you to come back. She's like, I just left. What do you mean?
I dropped you off. These fucking idiots. I demand respect. And his Hawaiian shirt is just yelling about all the respect he deserves. He did not take that well, as you can imagine. And he also did not get his ham radio license renewed kind of around the same time. right? Because it comes up for renewal, and to be able to broadcast on a channel, the FCC has to approve you as a user or something like that, so that crazy people can't just get on there and spout craziness. So I don't know why he got denied his license, but perhaps this next video will kind of explain that. This is a clip of him interacting with some of other ham radio fags, which turns out to be an honorary gentleman.
N9OGL, there's a QSO in progress. You're interfering with an ongoing QSO with your broadcast.
N9OGL, stop jamming.
N9OGL, please don't yell at me. The frequency's in use, sir. Please stand by and don't yell.
So he didn't take that well.
No, it sounded like he did good. What are you talking about?
He complained to everybody that would listen, and eventually they stopped listening, and he got real mad about it. If you'll pull up image 2, this is his reaction to the lack of understanding and caring. Ping, Taylorville police chief, with a picture of the police chief and a crosshair on him, right at the throat. This was posted by Todd Daugherty, aka N9OGL, resulting in his arrest for aggravated assault. He says, and I'll do my best to read this because these are real rough. Here we go. Hello, Taylorsville Police Chief. Quick question. How much is your job worth financially? Because, sir, I looking to sue the city of Taylorville, you and the state of Illinois for violation of my 14th Amendment rights. I looking around $6.5 million. I was wondering if you wish to keep your job or allow this game to continue. I don't know you, and quite frankly, I don't want to know you. Someone who allows his officers to violate someone's rights is no good in my book. It bad enough that bitch, Lisa Madigan, we'll get back to her, knew I was being threatened long before you morons, long before the FBI. So again, sir, how much do you value your job? Because when all said and done, if you want to continue to play this game, you and those involved in this on your force will not have one. I'll make sure you all can't even get a job as a night security guard at Walmart. And we know he's in good with Walmart, so that threat is valid.
So that Walmart actually just goes around asking everyone in town if they hate him, and if they do, they hire him, and they don't even make him work. Like, do you hate that guy that used to push carts in our parking lot? I do. Like, we're gonna give you $30 a week just for that.
Yeah, he used to just ding my car every single time
with his chin.
Yeah. So there's an example. This surely is just an isolated incident. He was just blowing off some steam, whatever. Next image, please, if you would.
I thought it actually was going to get worse. I thought the crosshair was going to be some sort of a death threat here.
Well, here we go. April 14th. April 14th is quickly approaching. Are you all ready for I'm going to kill me some cops? Bwahahaha. Bang, bang, cops. Bang, bang. Bwahahaha. Okay. That was written at 1 in the afternoon. Not 1 a.m.
Yeah, that's not middle of the night shit. That's a problem.
They're at work. They could probably read that when you posted it live, real time. But okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Next image will surely be better. Hoo boy. Okay, coming soon. Picture of a pipe bomb and boom with 6 exclamation marks underneath it. The best part of this picture to me isn't the bottom threat, which I'll read here. Oh, will carry out my threats. You seem to need to get this through your fucking head. I don't on your time scale. I'll strike when I'm ready, and no one in this shithole town will be safe. So he's expanding the threat to the
Yeah.
whole shithole town.
I know what you're gonna read. I just read them and they're fucking awesome.
His tags on this fucking post,
tags
which
are
has
so good.
zero comments, are fantastic. It starts, City of Taylorville, Consolidated Communication, which gives him his license for the ham radio. FBI morons. FCC, ham radio. Harassment. Taylorville, police, vengeance. What would you have to search to randomly find this guy?
He's
hey,
so good.
He's here.
What do you mean?
Doc Dot. Todd Daugherty is here.
Todd's in the chat? Todd?
Welcome. My gentleman is in the chat. Todd, welcome to the
beautiful
chat,
thing.
sir. Next image, please, if you will. He also wrote on March 3rd of I can't remember what year, but he's looking dapper in his picture here, like a gentleman would. And their time will come, along with that bitch. They will get there soon enough. July is slowly coming. I find that's always true, especially as a kid. July was always slowly coming,
Who's
It never
Lisa?
got there
What did
fast
she do?
enough. Lisa is the attorney general, I think, or the mayor or governor or something. Somebody very high up. Maybe Doc Dot can say who it is in the chat. That bitch Carol Baskin. Good one, Fins fan. No, it is not. But I think he was right. I think he was right on that one. Next image. Okay, there we go. Man arrested for his threats.
So we got to that point, huh?
Now, this threat was a little bit different than his regular threats. This one actually turned out, there's a twist to this one, but the article that was written below this picture here states, Daugherty posted, or Daugherty, I don't know actually how you pronounce it. I've heard it both ways. I thought it was Daugherty in all cases, but turns out some people say Daugherty, so it might be Daugherty. Daugherty posted message on an internet social forum, hateandflame.com. So you kind of already know what you're going to expect from a website like that, right? Hateandflame.com. In the post, he's holding a pistol pointed at the camera with a message in all caps. I know what you think it's going to say, but you'd be wrong. The message said, I'll go to fucking Memorial Elementary School and make Sandy Hook look like a Sunday school picnic.
Well, that'll get you fucked up.
That'll get you arrested. He was in jail for a month for that
doesn't
while they
seem
were
like enough time.
investigating. But the website that this threat was found on had absolutely no login. So you could just go and
So
say
anybody
you're
can do
anybody.
that.
And while he was in jail, someone posted threats from him on the website. So he got off. Totally got
so
off.
maybe the
charges dropped.
The first one wasn't him either, maybe, or no?
Well, I don't know, but there's probable cause that it's not him, or reasonable doubt. Sorry, reasonable doubt that it's not him. Probable cause that it was. They took his stuff for the investigation. Obviously, when something like that happens, they take your computer, they scrub the hard drive for any incriminating evidence, which we'll get into that later too. But they still, no, they don't still have it. They should have released it back to him in March of 2020, I believe. So who knows? He might not have got his stuff back, but he was threatening suing the state if they didn't give it back to him. So hopefully this gentleman got his stuff back because,
yeah, of course.
Obviously him getting arrested and the news story being blown up all over Illinois, Casey, that's going to bring out the trolls, right? That's going to bring out the trolls.
I hate when the trolls show up.
Me too, and so did Todd. Todd hates trolls, hates them, like a gentleman should. Please, the next image. Mad Vlad. This is somebody who still fucks with Todd on Kiwi Farms and other places. Todd says, let's pick this person's comment apart. Let me see what that says. It's his own name. Autism. So-and-so's autism is getting worse. Nope, sorry, I don't have autism. In fact, I was tested a few years back, 2015, because of a court proceeding. But no, I came back negative on having autism. Boom. A gentleman's always acquitted of crimes and autism. Mad Vlad comes back with, the test said sociopathy instead. Todd goes, Nope, there's nothing wrong with me, Mad Vlad. Normal people don't threaten to shoot 12-year-old kids at soccer practice, nutter. Todd comes back with, that was how many years ago, jackass? No one cares except you. Great point.
Good point.
That's a great point, Todd.
That's a good point.
Todd doesn't just take on the small trolls, though. He takes on the big boys as well. Next image, if you would, for me, please. Dear stupid fuck. Could be anybody. A lot of stupid fucks.
Probably us.
Probably us. Fuck you. How about coming over so I can put a fucking bullet through your fucking kneecap? You stupid fuck. Better. One through your fucking brain. Yeah, delete the kneecap one and just... you don't have to, correct yourself in real time.
You don't need foreplay and murder. You can just do it.
Actually, no. I thought of a better one. Put it in your fucking brain. Kneecap. What was I thinking? Because after all, stupid fucks like you don't need to fucking breed. By the way, remove the site or I will have the Googles remove it. If you won't, I will DOS attack their sorry asses till I fucking die. Again, fuck you. DOS attacking Google is bold. I mean, that's a bold strategy. I don't think it worked out for him. Oh shit, we got more tags. Can you read
I know,
those?
I was just looking at them.
Oh shit, okay, here we go. Again, 0 comments, which is a shame. I really like the comments on these. Abuse and harassment, amateur radio, FBI, FCC, free speech, Google, ham radio, Riley. Oh, are we going to get a dox here? Riley Hollingsworth. Okay, that's the stupid fuck. Got it. Oh, Doc left. He realized my email was actually not what this was. I said we were nominating him as a gentleman, and
we are.
Join us.
What are you talking about?
Well, he might have had another idea of what this was going to be, but I feel another Tommy Tudor maybe in the future on this one. Casey, if you would for me, please, play the next video, because Todd has a YouTube channel, and he's got a lot of videos. This one is probably my favorite. It's him building in Minecraft. And it's the second video he ever posted, right? So this was like ground level shit. Go ahead and push play. I love this video.
Oh, record. Stop recording. The heck? The heck's the matter with this thing?
I love that video. That was it. That was the whole video. Kept it because a gentleman says fuck do-overs. I'm posting it. Posting that shit.
Oh, that's great.
Man. Casey, if you would for me, go ahead and play video. Oh, that was it. Sorry. He also has a Twitch. Or had. I don't know if he has one still. Maybe somebody in the chat can go research that. But that didn't go well for him either. If you'll play the next image here, we'll read a back and forth. Well, I mean, it's one way, but anyway. Bossy Guy Mike says, your Twitch account doesn't look like it's banned. I can still see all your videos. I don't think it was you defending myself, but you're showing a picture of a scrotum.
Well, you can't do that on Twitch.
You can't do that on Twitch, whatever. He replied, the rest of it doesn't matter, but Doc replies, it was 24-hour ban apparently, and it was overturned after I filed an appeal to Twitch. As for the image, I was unaware that it was being streamed till it was too late. Why was that on there?
There's never...
Come on!
There's never been a still image of a scrotum anywhere on any computer I've ever owned.
Yeah, not a still of it.
No. No.
You'll get the weird angle every now and then where you're just like, fast forward.
Oh, that's the...
Come on, I don't want that.
Sometimes bad camera work happens, but...
Sometimes. That's shoddy work. But he had it just freeze-framed, but whatever. Okay, Casey, now to get to the really weird shit. All right, in case you didn't think that was weird enough. Anime! As they all are wont to do. Next image, please.
It's
We'll
like
get
a fucking
his-
checklist. It's like a fucking checklist, and anime's always on it.
I'm really sad that he left before the finale. But anyway, Todd says, people who hate me defending anime are probably those who are really anti-Japanese because they are nothing more than racist.
Dr. Seuss.
Fair point. Fair point. Go to the next image for me, Casey.
Patroness is predicting tentacle porn at
Yeah.
some point in our future.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's wrong with that, right? What's wrong with anime? He continues. He goes, show me the law that says it is, because under the law, child porn is images of real children engaged in sexual activity. Secondly, anime, including lolicon, comes from Japan, which is a totally different culture, where the age of consent is a lot lower.
So
it's not 6.
It's
not 6, and that's what lolicon is. Jesus Christ.
I didn't know what lolicon was.
Lolicon is pornography that is specifically artistic. So it's specifically drawn or 3D animated or whatever of little girls getting fucked. That's what lolicon is.
Okay.
It is illegal in all the states that are awesome. But you can imagine which states it is legal in: New York, California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois. Those are the big 5 where it's totally cool, totally fine. And I am all for freedom of expression, but when you're talking about the what's being expressed, I'm not for it. Not for it at all.
Look, this is such terrible. It's such a terrible argument. His argument here is, okay, yeah, sure, I like anime of little girls getting fucked, but like, first off,
You're
it's
a
not even
racist.
illegal because they're not real, right? First off, they're not real, so it's fine in that regard. And number 2, right, like, where it comes from, like, the age of consent's lower than here. So me wanting to fuck the child just animated here is normal because of those 2 things.
Yeah.
What?
And you're just racist against Japanese people because their age of consent is lower. It might be like 16. Anyway.
A equals B and B equals C, then my pedophilia is fine.
And you're the weirdo. You're the weirdo with your argument. So not the strongest argument, right?
Not great.
It also doesn't help when he goes on to his forums and posts pictures of like, oh, I'm going to buy this soon. This is going to be great. Go ahead and show what image he's talking about. He's so fucking excited to buy.
Oh, no. Is that a fucking sex doll?
Yep. Well, no, it's a real doll. They would never call it a sex doll, but
It's a sex doll.
but it's an oh my God. I've drank too much to say this word. It is anatomically correct, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah.
Why you would need that? There's a reason why Barbie doesn't have a hole in there. You know what I mean? And she was an adult.
Barbie, they're so small, they'd only be a hit in Japan. If,
Yeah, hey, maybe 3-hole Barbie. Yeah, good call. Good call. So anyway, he posts this, and Casey, go ahead and show the next image if you would for me, please.
Following this one, I'm not sure I want to. Oh, he got it!
Even the fucking doll's face in this picture is like, oh God.
This looks like a hostage photo, and it's a doll.
The doll does not want to be involved in this. Oh, Casey. I would like to close tonight with a little bit of art from
I think
Todd.
Somebody posted this picture.
He's so proud of it. He's so proud of it. And do you notice what's right above his head? Just right behind his head above there?
Oh, that's a cross.
That's a cross.
That's a cross.
Jesus does not agree with anything you're doing, sir, even if he were a real person. Todd, like I said, was an amateur blogger, and he would sometimes write fictional pieces. This one is a play on Little Red Riding Hood, which is not subtle at all. Like the writing is poor, not just in its execution, but in the imagery and all of that. I'm not going to give you the title of it until the end, but you could probably guess what the title is. This is called Lily by Todd Daugherty. This was written in 2019.
Am I pulling up a next image?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be reading this to you. You just sit back and enjoy.
Got it.
Here we go. In the small town of Silva, located in the western plains of Dane County, lives a little 10-year-old girl who is loved by all, named Lily. One day, Lily mother called her into the kitchen and asked Lily if she wanted to deliver some food to her sick aunt. Lily's aunt was pregnant and became dreadfully ill. Lily nodded and grabbed her red coat. Now, Lily, said her mother, go straight to your aunt's house and do not take any shortcuts. This is sounding familiar. I know you have a terrible memory, but this sounds familiar,
Yeah, this
right?
sounds like, I'm with you.
She said, okay, replied Lily. Who writes like that? She said, okay, replied Lily, as she grabbed the basket and made her way out the door. Lily skipped down the sidewalk and the warm spring breeze blew her long black hair in the air as she went farther down the sidewalk where she stopped in front of a dark alley. That should have been a comma, but no, that's a period at the end of that sentence. She stood there looking down the alley and thought to herself, it would be faster to go down this alley to get to her aunt's house. But she remembered.
Lily, no shortcuts.
But she remembered that she told her mother that she would stay on the sidewalk. After standing there a while and thinking it over, she decided to go down the alley because, after all, nothing will happen and no one will ever know.
Well, at a certain point, if she stood there thinking about it long enough, she had to take the alley just to save the time she wasted by standing still. So, really, she had no choice.
Correct. She traveled a little way down the alley when she was stopped by an old man who was smelly and dirty. I presume he's putting himself in the story at this point.
I assume too, yeah.
The man had wrapped around him a fur coat that was gray, like a wolf's.
On the nose?
On the nose. Nailed it. Hello, little girl. Where are you off to today? He asked Lily. He asked, no period. Lily didn't say anything at first, but thought to herself this guy was old and kind of reminder of her grandfather. I'm off to my aunt's house who is sick due to the fact that she is going to have a baby, said Lily. The old man licked his lips and nervously gave off a little smile at Lily. Where does she live? Asked the old man. Down at the end of the alley, said Lily as she pointed down the end of the dark alley. Now, this is lazy writing. This is real lazy writing. Where does your aunt live? At the end of the alley. Before that, she said, as she went further down the sidewalk, she stopped in front of a dark alley. She stood there looking down the alley and thought to herself, it would be faster to go down this alley to get to her aunt's house. No shit. If her house is at the end of the alley, it's the path to her house.
You haven't broken the trust with your mom at all.
Yeah, you put it in there as a fucking shortcut to get to... But no, her house is at the end of the alley. God, what an idiot. You said your aunt is sick, said the old man. You know what will cheer her up, he said. What? Asked Lily. See that vacant field there? Are wild flowers on it, said the old man as he pointed to the field of flowers. Pick her some flowers and take them to her, he said with a smile. That's a good idea. Thanks, mister, said Lily as she went over to the field. Lily began picking flowers.
What the fuck is it? It's dark out. They're in a city. And he's like,
go over to that field. This is the worst story ever. But it gets worse. Let's see here. That's a good idea. Thanks, mister, said Lily as she went over to the field. Lily began picking flower, unaware that the old man had disappeared into the darkness. The old man shortly arrives at Lily's aunt's house and knocks on the door. After a few minutes, the door is opened by a very pregnant woman with long brown hair and pretty face. Yes? She asked. "Excuse me, madam, can you spare a poor old man a glass of water?" he asked her in a very depressing voice. The woman, being kind to the old man, said, "Sure," and opened the screen door to let him in. "Follow me," she said as she led him into the kitchen. She went to the sink and grabbed a glass out of the cabinet and began filling it with water. Unaware, the old man had grabbed a pan from the hanging rack. As she turned around, he smacks her in the head with the pan, knocking her out. He dragged her into the bedroom where he took her clothes. She laid on the bed, knocked out and naked. As he began to take off what little clothes she had on, his old wrinkled penis throbbed as he looked at this lovely naked pregnant lady laying on the bed. His penis throbbed as he could no longer control himself. He spread her legs, grabbed his penis. Okay, we'll go on a little bit. That's terrible. Let's go on here. Okay, Lily. Let's see.
I could not agree more. Well, that went sideways quickly. The fuck?
Like Dr. Seuss's Asian depictions. So we'll skip forward in the story because that's pretty gross. Here we go. Lily tried heading out of the bedroom door, but the old man grabbed her and slammed the door shut. He held both her arms and his wrinkled old penis began throbbing ever so harder. He took his right hand and grabbed Lily's clothes and ripped them off of her. His penis continued throbbing as he saw Lily standing there, her arm in his hand, naked, with only her underwear on. He grabs some rope and ties her arms and legs to the bedpost. He gags her mouth so she couldn't scream and grabs hold of her panties and rips them off. He takes the ant's clothes off and the ants. Why the ants again? What the fuck is this guy? And his penis stood erect and blah, 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 blah. This, let's see, skip forward. He takes the ant's clothes off, as he takes his tongue up her inside leg until he reaches her tiny 10-year-old crack. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Todd Daugherty.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yes, Chad, I was going to read that with him in the chat. I wanted him to answer for his gentlemanliness.
That is a really good question out of chat right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
that
vote
went
him
fucking
up.
sideways, dude.
He is a terrible person who hopefully didn't write that, but
wrote that. but he wrote that.
He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to persuade anybody that he didn't write that. I'll say that right now. Oh man, KC.
Wow.
What do we do now?
I think we end the show forever.
Remember that voicemail is 321 POV fuck.
That's perfect. DC, tell everybody where they can find all the other shit.
Go to www.twogoddamngentlemen.com. There you'll find the links to our Patreon, the Twitter, all the things, especially the Hall of Gentlemen voting booth. Get in there, vote early, vote often. Let's get Todd into the bottom 3. I think we can do it.
I think he belongs. And Daddy 05 is not in the bottom 3. For the record.
No, Daddy 05 is a saint compared to this guy.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, DC, we did not find them today. So the search for the ultimate gentleman continues.
That's what you get for talking all that shit, you fucking asshole.
Wolves aren't gay, USA. Wolves aren't gay, USA.
So there you go. Isn't that a great story, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.